Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Scott's RPG Reviews. Got a box in a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet, but it's really interesting, and I wanted to go through it. And it is the new Star Trek Adventures starter set for 2nd edition. Just came out. You can get it on the Modiphius website. You can find it all sorts of places. Your local game store. Good price, $30. I've seen it around for $25 to $30 is typically the price you can expect to pay for it. So I want to go through it and talk about what it contains and what I liked about it. There wasn't much I didn't like about this that aren't issues that I just have the game in general. So let's go ahead and go through what's in it. So first of all, it comes with a rules booklet. Here's a rules booklet here. It is only 47 pages long, less than 50 pages long, which if you've picked up the new 2nd edition and even the 1st edition of Star Trek Adventures, that's very big and very, not really big, not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, but still pretty big and can be a little bit of a slog to get through. This is nice and short. It's very well organized. It talks about character. You have, in Star Trek Adventures, you have characters, and then you have the ship is its own character and it has its own stats, and so you have two types of adventures. And it goes through both brief summaries of how those work, how stats works, how challenges work, using the D20 system. It talks about threat and momentum, and determination. That's the other thing they've got. So it does that very well. So it talks about your characters, how they work, how equipment works. It talks about starships and starship operations and how they work. And it has lots of good examples in it as well. So it has examples of here's how this type of challenge works and here's how this works. So good examples, which I really like. And then on the back, even better, is it's got a narrative flow chart. So if you're the, quote, GM/narrator in this system, how it works, how NPCs work, how the difficulty system works, weapons and how they work, and in less than 50 pages, which is really great because that means I can sit down, read this in a couple hours probably, and have a really good understanding of how to run the game. Then it comes with not just an adventure, but an entire campaign. It is the starter set campaign booklet. It is 3 adventures that are tied together. They're well structured. Again, we're now at about 60 pages, it looks like, where it has 3 adventures, Infinite Combinations, Incursion Point, and Dare to Be Wise. Oh, and Infinite Combinations is not the adventure, excuse me. Infinite Combinations is the discussion of the campaign. The campaign is Incursion Point, Dare to Be Wise, and whatever should be done must be done. And then what's really interesting, and they're really well organized, explain stuff well, and they're designed so that the further you get in, the more rules type stuff you get into. And then at the end, what I thought was really interesting is they said, look, if you're really liking this, here are some mission briefs. 1-page summarizations of here's another adventure you could write, here's the key components, and here's how it works. And they're written in 1 page. So they're not entire adventures at the back. You do have those 3, but it has here's some other ideas that you might want to with adventure. So again, really well structured. Gives you not just one adventure to run, but a good starter campaign. Then, with all starter boxes, you have other handouts. You come with pre-generated characters. They're really, really nice. Here's an example of one here. You can see here's a picture of one. It's 2 pages on big paper. It's got all your stats up in the upper right-hand corners, all the stuff you need for your character, a nice picture, all that kind of stuff. And it comes with 7. So you can actually, if you're running a game like 4 to 5 players, you're not saying, okay, everybody has to pick one of these and someone's going to maybe get stuck with something they don't want. There's 7 characters, so it gives you lots of options. The Blade Runner by Free League, which I really love, has 4 characters, and you pretty much have to run those 4 characters in that starter box. That's the way it's designed. Here, there's a lot more flexibility, and because we're talking about Star Trek Adventures, the ship is its own character. And so here's the character sheet for the USS Challenger NCC 2023 and all the information you need when you're doing the starship stuff, including special rules, all that kind of stuff. So really cool. And again, 2-sided. And then, and I hadn't seen this before in a starter box that I can remember, is they have a bunch of rule sheets, one-page summary rule sheets. So we've got things like, this is conflict reference, or conflict reference. So if you get in combat, how to run it. Starship conflict, how to run it. Breaches, so if you have a breach in your ship, how to handle it. And then a rules summary card, rules 1 and 2. So you have a bunch of quick rules summaries as well. Easy to read, great for a GM in order to run. Also comes with a bunch of 20-sided dice. It's a D20 system, so you've got that there as well. And momentum tokens, red alert tokens, threat tokens, all that kind of stuff. So you got a bunch of tokens there available as well for use in the game. So good stuff. I really like it. It's got more than just here's a basic rule set and here's one adventure. It's got a bunch of adventures. You could run a whole campaign. It's got the pre-generated characters, really common in starter sets. I like that. The rules references are really cool. And it's designed so that you can, the GM, the narrator, can read the rules and then get everybody running, and the rules briefs can be pretty good. So, pretty happy with it. Nice, solid structure box. You know how I feel about that. I think starter boxes should be designed so they can sit on your shelf, and you're not worried about them collapsing on you and everything. So, Star Trek Adventures, I've read it. I haven't played it yet. I haven't gotten the right group of people together for it. I think it's one of those games where you have to have people that are, one, kind of more... It's not heavy mechanics. It's certainly more mechanically oriented than some other games that I run. They've got to be married to the Star Trek genre. They really want to play that Star Trek genre. If they're just looking for space opera or science fiction, I think there are better alternatives that I would look at. Maybe... look at something like Alien or something else, or alternative space ones. But if you really want to play a Star Trek game, this is definitely for people to say, look, I want to play on a starship, and I want to play a yeoman, or I want to play a captain, or I want to play a science officer. Really cool. Rules are relatively easy to understand. It's a D20 roll under system. I think it's roll under. And it works pretty well. So, if you're looking to run Star Trek Adventures, I would start with this. I've got the core rulebook, both first and second editions, and I will tell you what I found is it's an awful lot of material to get started. It's particularly for beginners that are not used to alternative systems and alternative universes. It's a lot. I would start with this. It's $30 well spent, and yes, the rules book is all that's in the rules book here. It's in the core rule book. Agreed. But also, if you buy this and you like it, you go out and you buy the core rule book, which is what you'll end up doing. You've now got the starter book, which you can hand to people and say, look, read this. This will give you the basics. And you pass it to someone. They can read it and give it back to you. So, that's Star Trek Adventures. Everyone have a good weekend.